ways that celebrities kill off their own brands very quickly. We've seen that time and time again, haven't we, chums? You know, the sort of thing where they say famously, oh, I don't shop there, even though they paid a lot of money to front that particular brand, supermarket, whatever. Famously over here in the United Kingdom, there was a once respected sort of mid-range jeweller who basically called his own products, I'll put it politely, rubbish. And that was the end of him. I mean, you just couldn't make some stupidity things up, could you? But of course, if you're starting out and you're a founder, an entrepreneur, whatever you want to call yourself, well, of course you are somebody like Meghan Markle and you're desperate to try and make these things work, right? You want to make sure that your brand is at the very peak of, well, popularity and that people are going to embrace it. And as we saw in a Netflix cooking show, it was all about elevating things, wasn't it? You know, I just like to take something and elevate it, right? And the thing was, you know, we thought, and you would have thought looking at the stuff, that she genuinely had a hand in the product. But Meghan herself, maybe inadvertently, has literally blown any opportunity of basically selling and becoming a billionaire, in many people's opinion, all thanks to this. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. Thank you so much for your time today. And thank you for your lovely comments, by the way, regarding, of course, the recent reports regarding King Charles and his health. So far, I can tell you that it's looking good. He's resting over the weekend and positive, you know, going ahead for future things. It is worrying, as I said, you know, people say, oh, you know, but you know, you have to remember, people get to a certain age and sadly things do come over them. And it's sometimes nothing your fault, is it? We all have it, don't we? You know, you wake up and think, goodness, didn't have that creak when I got up last night or the day before. Suddenly you're thinking, what's gone wrong here? You know, hopefully a stiff whiskey and maybe a warm hot water bottle does the trick. But it's not always that easy, is it? You know, whatever we've got, that's the problem. It's the same problem, of course, if you're trying to become, well, something of a global billionaire, some people might say. The problem with Meghan, time and time again, I would honestly say is she just makes these ridiculous mistakes, you know. I mean, the videos on Instagram are like something that you would make, say, I don't know, 15 years ago. It's just kind of, what are you trying to achieve? You know, picking the sweet pea on a Sunday. Am I supposed to rush out into the garden and think, oh, Meghan does this, I better do that? It just doesn't work. And of course, she's talked about certain things, like in this particular promotional video, she said, as you all know, you know, jam's my thing, or spread as we call it, or well, we call it jam. I think the rest of the world call it spread. And then she tried to have a half-hearted go at it, didn't she, with her American Riviera sending out pots of jam to a friend. But you see, what really helps sell a brand, and you could say this to anybody, whether that be Fortnum & Mason's, Highgrove, the Buckingham Palace shop, is the mystery behind it. You know, the mystery is the key, because we like to think, I don't know if you agree on this, but you know, when you see things like, you know, farm fresh, you think, oh, wow, farm fresh. In your brain, it tells you this is a nice product. Meghan released this video for her jams. So there you go. Right, there you basically see, I thought we were going to see Meghan with huge pots and pots of pans and stuff in her kitchen, stirring it round, no doubt with Lily and Archie bagging it up or pulling the lids on. No, that wasn't happening. Meghan, too hard work, that, isn't it? It's basically a factory with a label slapped on, and you're going to be getting it in this fancy box, which you're going to be paying a lot of money for. Well, why is it a problem? Well, the mystery's gone. We now know. Right? And basically, she's been advised that this wasn't the right video to put out. Basically, she should have put a video out maybe in sunlight with a few raspberries, somebody gently putting some on a nicely, freshly warm baguette or a piece of toast. That would have helped sell it. This looks cynical and, more importantly, cheap, but it's not cheap to buy. But as ever in the world of Meghan, she won't listen. You know, she thought this was a great way of saying production started, gearing up, get ready to buy. What this has done in effect is actually see her have a lot of negative comments because, as I said, when you buy the jam from Fortnum's, you know it's made in a factory to a very special recipe and it's delicious, as I've said, if you can ever afford a jar as a treat. The Highgrove jam, the Buckingham Palace, we all know how they're made. We just don't need to see it so bluntly displayed in front of us. But once again, feet first, she's managed to make sure that the mystery of how this new as ever brand, jam, spread, is now, well, out there, but not in a good light. Anybody else agree? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.